Everybody, this is David Britt, your instructor for MSOM 602 Servant Leadership here in the fall of 2015, coming to you today from the Hoh Rainforest. And this is, I think, from what they say, the wettest spot in the United States. It's about 220 or 202 inches of rain every year. Yes, I said over 200. So I've gotten a little break in the weather today, so I thought I would do this video from the rainforest. Wanted to just welcome you to the course. This is a course I developed a long time ago, but certainly has some application for today in more ways than you can imagine. I actually put some information in here from Howard Schultz talking about how servant leadership is needed today. Howard Schultz being the CEO of Starbucks. So just wanted to let you know, I do these videos every week. I do a lot of traveling, and so I like to shoot them from wherever I happen to be in the world. And in the upcoming term, I'm going to be in the Middle East and South America and a few other places, and hopefully they will be interesting locations for you. I do these not just to show you where I am, but I actually do them to review the prior week's lesson and preview the upcoming week's lesson. I find that that's a good way to connect with students, to give you some of my thoughts, some of my experiences from the information that's been presented in the prior weeks and what we're looking forward to doing in the upcoming weeks. This class, by the way, happens to be developed, or actually formatted into two different sections. We had so many new students and existing students in this course that we actually split it into two sections. And so one section has primarily brand new students, and the other section has primarily existing students. So I wanted to welcome the new students to not only the course but to the degree program, and then welcome back the existing students who may just be finishing up a prior class with me. So if that's the case, sorry you got me again. So two sections of this course. Welcome the new students. The new students, by the way, you're going to be receiving an email from me here very shortly that asks you to email me 3 different times when we could arrange to chat on the phone. I only need 1 hour of your time, but give me 3 different options because I have quite a few students who I'm trying to get scheduled. And what we'll do on that phone call is I want to have an opportunity, first of all, to get to meet you. Distance education doesn't have to be distant, and so what I like to do is have an opportunity to meet, talk with you over the phone. But also, when we talk, I want you to be next to your computer so that I can help walk you through the course. Many of our students, as a matter of fact, about 50% of our brand new students have never had an online class before. And so what I like to do is walk you through the navigation of the system, to show you how eCollege works, to answer any questions that you may have, to help give you a head start on the online learning environment. Also, if you're an existing student and you just want to set up an appointment and chat, feel free to do that as well. I would love to chat with you. So I'll send an email out and we'll get those scheduled, hopefully here pretty quickly. And the other thing that I've done for the new students, you'll find as you get into the course, on the home page over in the left-hand navigation, you'll see something called New MSOM Student Getting Started. And in there I've placed several tutorials, giving you some other types of just check your understanding, some sample quizzes, those types of things that hopefully will help you get started in an effective way in the course. So the most important thing I would ask you to do, and perhaps even before we have our telephone call, is to make sure that you go through the video. There are probably, I don't know, about 10 videos in there. So what I'd ask you to do, pop some popcorn, grab some soda, sit down, and just make a night of it and go through those. Many of those talk about course navigation. They talk about graduate level writing. They talk about APA. They talk about writing format, tips, those types of things that'll be very helpful for you as you graduate from undergraduate studies to graduate studies. Because one of the things that you're going to find is it's much more rigorous in graduate studies than it was in undergraduate studies. So I put those together to provide some assistance for you. And even if you're an existing student, those will be there for you as well. So you'll be able to take a look at those and hopefully refresh yourself. If you ever have any questions, I mean, APA, I'm still learning about that every week, it seems like. So that'll be able to give you some help on that as well. Okay, so that is really just the general welcome here. Again, everybody, welcome. But let's talk a little bit about what you're going to be doing in lesson 1 coming up. Lesson 1 is really about providing a foundation and defining leadership, because before I put that word servant in front of leadership, I think it's very important for you to understand what your understanding is of leadership. What's your definition of leadership? And so what I try to do is kind of mess you up a little bit. I give you some really interesting and sometimes challenging reading assignments, and also some videos that may shake your foundation a bit on what you think leadership is all about. And so this week you have some readings that you'll go through. You'll read different pieces of those in the electronic book. And then I have 2 videos that I've posted. One of the videos is by a guy named Drew Dudley, and his is called Lollipop Moments. And so it's a really interesting video that perhaps will give you a new perspective on what you believe leadership is. And then the second one is a video on the differences between management and leadership. And that's also a very good video that's by a CEO of a company who, again, will give you some, hopefully, new perspective on leadership. And so before we jump into servant leadership, it's always important to get that type of foundation. So this week you're going to have 2 discussion board posts, and one of the things that you'll find out in the requirements are you'll have to have 1 initial post, and then you'll have 2 response posts to other students' posts. That will be the requirement for every discussion board that we have throughout the course. And I talk about that a little bit in the instructions and also in the new MSOM student getting started. So the first discussion board is simply an introduction. In an online environment, it's very good for you to be very thorough in these, because, let me give you an example. True story, by the way. Just giving an introduction doesn't necessarily have to be boring. I mean, I had a student one time who gave an introduction. It was a very thorough introduction. And there was another student in the class who saw and read the introduction and said, "Hey, your experience looks like somebody that we're looking for in our company." And so they got together, they got connected, and the person sent them their resume. And as a matter of fact, that person got hired by that company simply because of the introduction that they gave in the class. True story. Absolutely true story. So don't treat that as a throwaway. I mean, be very thorough if you can, because in many instances, you're going to be spending a lot of time with these students over the next few courses. And so it's good to get to know them as well. So that's the first discussion question. The second discussion question talks about your definition of leadership. And so perhaps some of the reading that you have this week, perhaps some of the videos that you will see this week, will help define for you what leadership is and what it is not. And so that is the discussion board question for discussion board 2. Now, the one thing I catch people on this all the time. You're in graduate studies now, so do not use a dictionary. I'm not interested in what Merriam-Webster had to say. I'm not interested in any of the online dictionaries have to say about the definition of leadership. Part of graduate work now is research, and there are hundreds of research articles that you'll find, by the way, at the CSU online library, that you will find in those videos that I have, those tutorial videos. I show you how to access that. And so that's what graduate level research is all about, finding terms, defining them by other people who've gone out and researched the topic. So again, the key message here, don't use a dictionary. You did that in high school and undergraduate work. You don't do that in graduate work going forward. Okay? So that is discussion board 2. And then the application this week, and typically this will be the format for every week. You'll have discussion boards and applications. The application this week is all about you. So you're going to write a paper after you go out to a site and answer some questions that will provide what's called your return on character. And so one of the things you'll find out about me, I operate under this philosophy. Every course that I teach, by the way, I have people the very first week go out and do a personal assessment. And the assessment really is about you. It's really about the lens through which you're going to approach the topics that we have in this course. And so I operate this way. I think in higher education, if all we do is fill your head full of facts, figures, thoughts, and everything else. But we don't teach you anything about you. I think we failed. And so in every course I teach, the very first week, I have the students go out and take a personal assessment. And then what you're going to do is you're going to write about yourself in that first paper. You'll also see in some of the videos I have later that I don't like writing in first person, but you can write in first person when it's about you. And so what's going to happen, you're going to go out, you're going to answer these questions, and then it's going to place your leadership philosophy, if you will, on this continuum. And it's a line between self-leadership and virtuoso leadership. And again, I want you to look at this not so much as trying to peg it in one direction or the other. That's not the indication. But the indication really is where you fall and where you think you can grow in those areas. And so I'll be really interested to see your take on this. And so that's what you're going to do. You're going to take this assessment, and then you're going to write a paper about you and your impressions of that assessment. Okay? So first week, new students, we got to set up those appointments so I can chat with you for an hour on the phone. Would encourage you as soon as you get the email from me to respond, and we can get those set up. Also, new students, you've got a little bit more work than the existing students because you need to go through those that section called New MSOM Student, getting started. Watch the videos, do all those things, and be prepared when we do meet on the phone to ask any questions in those areas as well. And then existing students, welcome back. We will just great to have you back. Okay. And then, finally, everyone, introduction in the discussion board. Make sure they're thorough. Second discussion board, define leadership in an original post, and then provide 2 response posts. And then take the assessment on your return on character and write the paper going forward. All right? Over the next few weeks, I'm going to be traveling, as I mentioned, quite a bit, so you'll see some videos from Abu Dhabi and Dubai and Doha, Qatar and Kuwait City. And then near the end of the term, I'll be down in South America, so I'm not sure if I'll get those in or not. But as always, I'm always accessible. You'll have no problem contacting me. When I am in the air, I'll send you an email and say, hey, I'll probably be out of pocket on the phone, but we'll always be connected via email. So the best way to contact me initially is just send me an email, and we can go from there to arrange the time, whether it's via Skype or some other way of connecting. But again, my goal is to make it seem like I'm just across the street. All right? Welcome. Great to have you in the course. I look forward to the next 7 weeks together. If you have any questions or concerns or comments, make sure you reach out and contact me. All right? Have a great week. Study hard. Chat with you soon.